What's up, guys? Bailey here. Today in this video, I got a bit of a different video here. I will be doing a tier list of martial arts that are based on efficiency in a street fight or self-defense scenario. So this is the scenario. You're walking on the side of the street and a guy comes up to you and basically pushes you and then hits you in the face and asks you for money. Bam. That's the scenario. So you're walking down the street, pushes you, bang, hits you with a right hand. You get hit, and then he goes, hey, give me your money. Then, boom, you got your martial art in the bag, and let's see how efficient this shit is, man. So I'm going to go over the tiers, even though they are pretty self-explanatory. So, as you can see, we got finishing the job, right? This tier, finishing the job, which basically means, like, if you got this martial art, you're finishing him off. You're killing him, or you are beating him unconscious, right? Pretty self-explanatory. Here, you're probably winning, right? So this doesn't mean that your martial art is like 100% reliable. Like there still could be a hole, like there's still like a puncher's chance or like a little lucky thing that someone can do to beat you or get out of it. But more than likely, right, that the probable thing to happen is that you are going to win. So next is you can stand your ground, right? This is, basically I would say that you're not fully equipped where you could feel like you're invincible or feel like you could take absolutely anybody on in a street fight setting, but enough where you can stand your ground, where you can kind of pick more of them than avoid them, right? Where you can handle yourself in more situations than you couldn't, right? So next here is that it could work, right? You got a few tricks up your sleeve. You're a bit more than the average person, right? You're not super athletic, you're not super freak, you're not like real high up there. The martial arts maybe not that advanced or that deadly, but it could work, right? If the other person knows nothing about fighting or doesn't really know anything about anything, right, then you could pull it off on him. Next is runaway, and this one, man, you would think this is going to be the bottom tier, but it's not. Runaway means like, listen, dude, you got enough sense where you should just, run away. And this one's you're going to die. This one's like you got no shot at making it out. Even if you try to do this, you're going to die. And that's just me being straight up, man. So yeah, let's get right into it, man. So first up, we got boxing, man. Now boxing, I got to say, you're probably winning. Now the only reason why I will say boxing is not S tier is really because you have a puncher's chance, right? Like there has been guys who like boxers who have been in street fight settings, and like a street fight is, there are absolutely no rules, right? We got to kind of remember that. Like shit's popping off, shit's going down, it's in the street and it's live and there's no rules, right? So with boxing, someone who like is maybe a bigger, faster guy, like like for example, if someone like the size of like Cain Velasquez, right? He knows nothing about fighting, but he's big and he's super strong. And a guy who's like Mayweather size, right? Of course he's going to get his fucking ass folded because the guy's so much bigger than him, right? The boxing isn't going to close that gap, right? Or even if you're like, a guy who's 5'10" and you're going up against a guy who's 6'2", like the boxing, like if you're not on that high of a level, it's not going to close the gap enough. So I feel like it really more depends on the level of boxing that you're at instead of just the martial art as a whole, right? And I think that there are some martial arts on this where even if you are a beginner, you could finish the job. You could finish them off, right? And boxing just simply isn't up there, right? Like boxing is just not up there because you're not taught a lot of things, right? You're not taught clinch work or how to avoid takedowns or what to do if things get on the ground, or it's just very limiting. Like to be kind of honest with you, it's very limiting, right? You got a jab, you got a cross, you got hooks, and you got uppercuts, right? That's it. You don't got elbows, knees, kicks, clinching. You don't have like takedowns, sweeps, locks. You know what I mean? Holds. Like you don't have any of that stuff. With boxing, it's very limiting, right? What makes an elite boxer is they take these limited tools and they put their own spin on it, and then they make it at a high level to where other high level guys can't compete with them, right? That's kind of what we judge it on, right? But if you grab some average boxer, would I say that he's going to make it out of a, one-on-one street fight scenario? Probably. Is there a chance that he can still get caught with something and get knocked out or get picked up and slammed? Absolutely there is. 1,000%, without a doubt. So yeah. So for that reason too, I would probably put bare knuckle boxing. I think I would put it Dude, I want to say probably even a little lower, right? I would say stand your ground. I don't think it's as technical as boxing. It's not as high level. And I think probably for the same reasons that I would say, like, for boxing as for bare knuckle boxing. The only reason why I would say that you can stand your ground on this one is because you're a bare knuckle guy, but they're not as technical and high level. That's just kind of the nature of it, right? The sport is still so young that we haven't seen guys like, the best bare knuckle boxer right now, or like, some popular names like Mike Perry, right? Eddie Alvarez, but those were guys who were already established, right? Like the Eddie Alvarez's, like Chad Mendez, Michael Venom Page, like those were guys who were already established in a separate discipline that came in to do bare knuckle boxing. And also, like, bare knuckle boxing, even though it is the most like realistic, I guess, street fight setting, sport, you still don't know how to like avoid the takedowns or take someone else down, or joints and sweeps and locks and holds and things like that. So I got to put that in the same reason. So next we got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, man. And I got to put this at finishing the job. There's a lot of things here, like with Jiu-Jitsu, with chokes, where that if they tap, that doesn't matter. You can keep the choke going until they die. That can kill someone. Or you can snap their arm. You can break their leg, you can snap their leg, ankle, you can grab a heel hook, a knee bar, right? And it kind of doesn't matter. Size isn't as dependent in this martial art. Like, now what I recommend, like if you go up against a bigger dude and you're a smaller guy and you try to put in a triangle, well no, you're going to get picked up and slammed on the concrete. But do I think that if a guy, who comes in swinging and he tackles you to the ground and you sink in a real tight guillotine or a real deep Kimura and you look over the shoulder and snap his arm immediately, yeah, that's pretty efficient. You just finished the fight right there. That's done. Like, that's it. Like, that person's not going to be able to do anything. Any chance that they had at catching you with something, any opportunity they had at hurting you was done when they took you down. It was over when things got to the ground, especially if, you even as a beginner, like if you know how to do a really good guillotine, have a really efficient guard, like, what the fuck are they going to do? Like, they're not even going to know what to do. They're going to try to explode, try to use all their energy to get out, and you're just going to sit and hold them. You're going to hold their neck or hold, like, their jacket or whatever, almost like a lapel, right, for, like, gi jiu-jitsu. And it's very, very realistic because they're going to try to explode out, and you're going to hold them, and then they're going to get tired. And then you're going to start attacking. Then you're going to be like, okay. And also, it's a street fight. You can hit them from bottom, but if we're talking like strictly jiu-jitsu, then still, like, it applies, because with jiu-jitsu, if you don't know anything, you got nowhere to go. I mean, it's like zero chance. Where it's like with boxing, you have a puncher's chance of landing something. You do. Like, it's a fight. If it's on the feet and I throw an overhand, or if I throw a haymaker, I still have an opportunity for that to land. Right? In jiu-jitsu, there's like zero opportunity. You know what I mean? Especially if you're going up, if you go up against a black belt, you're fucking dead. You're just dead. You're dead and you don't even know it. You're on borrowed time. So, yeah, that's why I got to put it here. So next we got judo. Now with judo, I got to say it could work. I personally probably wouldn't recommend this. But it could work. It really could. Like, if someone gets close to you and, you get your hands up and you're like, whoa, man, and they go and you can judo throw them or sweep them, that could work. But most of the time, I would say that this probably isn't going to work in a real life street fight, especially because if you don't know how to throw a punch, if you don't know how to put your hands up properly, if you don't know how to defend a takedown, then literally none of this is going to work. Like, if you know how to defend a takedown, if you know how to move your head out the way, get your hands up, then yeah, you could grab onto his jacket. You can grab onto something and grab his arm and judo throw him over you. It could work, but 9 times out of 10, it's not going to, because street fights are so chaotic. They're so quick and shit's going down and there's no fucking rules, man. Zero. So I think there's some things that could work in here where if you added it to your arsenal, then yeah, like, it could be good, but in the sole discipline alone, it wouldn't work. So I gotta put that here in this tier. So next we got wrestling, man. I gotta say, you're probably winning. You're probably winning this for a couple reasons, right? Number one is that's where most street fights go. 95% of the time, a fight or self-defense situation goes on the ground. Because guys get tired, they might get fatigued, or they just might not know what to do. So they might just try to tackle you down to the ground and just try to get on top of you and hit you from there. And with wrestling, this is perfect, because half the battle is already won. You know how to not only defend takedowns, but take down other people in a very efficient way, right? The best way, right? You're wrestling. And on top of that, you know how to stay on top of someone, stay off of your back. But something that I will say, this is only in a one-on-one scenario. Now, if you're like in a bar fight, right, where there's like, you know, 6 of your buddies and 6 of someone else's buddies are fighting, this wouldn't be efficient, because if you're on the ground, someone else can come and kick you in the side of the head. They can curb stomp you. They can do a lot of things. But in a one-on-one scenario, you're definitely winning, because you can just pin this guy down and stay glued to him, and he's not going to know what to do either. You can just suffocate him with pressure and with just pinning him to the ground. And that's what wrestlers do in MMA. You know what I mean? So I think it would absolutely work in a street fight setting. So next, we got Kudo, man. And this sport's actually interesting. You could stand your ground on this one. Kudo's good. I don't want to say that you could probably win with it, because Kudo, it's a bit of a mix of karate. It's like a karate MMA kind of discipline. It's a sport mixed with striking. But yeah, you can also do takedowns and submissions. But a lot of it, I don't want to say it looks coordinated, but I've seen the fighting, and just to me, it looks like, you know, they dart in and out with the striking, with the boxing combinations. And when you dart in, someone's going to come in and just hold on to you, and they're going to try to take you down to the ground. And this one is not really is focused on takedowns. They're really focused more on sweeps and like throws, you know. So, but I'm saying you could stand your ground on this one, because it could work. You could take them down, and yeah, you could submit them, but just this discipline, it's not focused on a sole thing. It's not solely a stand-up or solely grappling. It's a mix of both. And it's not like MMA, where it's more diverse and I guess it's more focused on. This one, it's like MMA light. It's like MMA, but not as focused on the takedowns and top position and domination and ground and pound. This one's more like karate boxing, in and out, mixed with throws, sweeps, and submissions. So I think that that's what makes this one formidable, but not the most. Not like top tier, like you're finishing this guy off, or you're probably going to win. Which leads me to my next one, man, which is Muay Thai. And with Muay Thai, I got to say, you're finishing the job, dude. And I think just off of the elbows and clinch alone, you're going to give someone a very, very hard time. You know, a lot of Muay Thai guys, they're short, they're small, and they're fast and quick. And they can kick your legs and absolutely chop you down. They can grab you in the clinch. When you go for a takedown, they can clinch and just throw knees and absolute bombs on the way in while you're trying to close the distance. If you try to if you try to come forward, they can teep kick you in your chest quicker than you can even breathe. You know what I mean? Quicker than you can even see anything. You know what I mean? That the elbows, they slice and cut people up. I think that Muay Thai is a perfect striking discipline. Not only just period, but in a street fight setting, because it's very, very violent. The nature of the sport is very, very violent, and sometimes it can be finished like that, just quickly. You know what I mean? Quickly, someone swings, you get your hands up, get them in a clinch, throw like 2-3 knees max, because that's how much someone can really take, and they're done, and they're out cold. And that's it, period. Fight is over, and there's no discussions after that. You know, and I think even if you're a little like a smaller guy going up against a bigger guy, you can still teep them away. You can still chop the legs, and you can still keep your distance. And even if they do get close, those knees and those elbows are still going to cut up anyone, because he's still a human being. So I think at the end of the day, MMA, you know, or Muay Thai is a very good striking discipline. I'd probably put it at the best. I'd put it at finishing the job. So this is the same one here. This is like MMA Muay Thai with the 4-ounce gloves. So I'm going to put it right here too, because they're essentially the same sport. So yeah, next we got Sumo. Now with Sumo, I got to put this at this could work. And this is just going based off of like the tradition that they're huge, that they're absolute monsters. Like, I mean, these guys are giant. We're talking like above 6 foot, well over 400 pounds. You know what I mean? Their balance is good, and their strength is pretty up there too. Now, obviously, this isn't like going to be the most efficient, just because, you know, I think that I guess in terms of just they don't know how to strike, they don't know how to throw a punch, they don't know any submissions. They just kind of know how to avoid getting taken down because of the balance. And because they're just huge. So it could work, but it's very circumstantial. You know what I mean? It is very circumstantial. So I think just for that, I got to put it here at this tier. Next, we got Savate. Now, Savate, you could stand your ground here on this one. I think I'm pronouncing this one correctly. Let me know if I butchered that. But it's a French kickboxing, and it's also mixed with like with feet, with kicking. But this one you can do knees. You can do like one knee in the clinch, and you also can do calf kicks. So I gotta say you could stand your ground on this one because it is boxing. It is very fast striking, and I think off of that, like you could be formidable. Like you could like be like, yeah, you know what? I got fast hands. I got lightning fast kicks. And I think that could be a problem for anyone on the street. So Savate is very unique, and yeah, that's how you pronounce it, Savate, not Savate, Savate. And they even nickname it French foot fighting. So yeah, like I said, I think you could stand your ground with this one. Moving on, we got MMA. I'm gonna put this at finishing the job because I think that this means just so many different things, right? MMA has just so many tools, man. Like, I mean, you got guys like Khabib, Conor McGregor, Stipe Miocic. I mean, you got all these guys who are so different, all in the same sport, and it goes all under the MMA banner. That I think it's fair to say that if you are an MMA fighter, you can finish the job. You know what I mean? You have more than one tool that you have that you are good at, because to be a really good MMA fighter you have to have 4 tools, right? You got to be exceptional at all 4, you got to be really good at 3 of them, you got to be great at 2 of them, and high level at 1 of them. And I think that that's kind of how it is. Everyone has one core discipline and everything else kind of surrounds around it. And I think if you got to get a guy like Ilia Topuria in a street fight, Charles Oliveira, you know what I mean? Or even a guy like Ryan Hall, you know what I mean, who just does jiu-jitsu, I think they will. I think it's very realistic because they're equipped for most situations, right? They're equipped for when they're striking with someone and all of a sudden they go for a takedown. They can defend the takedown, or they can control how they fall, or they can switch, pull their guard or whatever. They're equipped for those decisions. They're more equipped than probably anyone else on this tier list here, just because they are any which way fighters. They're literally saying anywhere this fight goes, on the ground, on the feet, in the clinch, in my guard, in your guard, I'm prepared for that. That is MMA right there, and maybe I'm giving MMA a little too much credit, but I really think that's how it is. I just think that MMA is easily one of the best, if not the best, combat sport today. Next, man, we got Sambo. Now, Sambo, I'm gonna say also, I gotta say you're probably winning. You know what I mean? With Sambo, it's almost like MMA. You know what I mean? It's just not as you can't use all the tools. You know what I mean? You can't use elbows, not too much clenching, but there's takedowns, there's ground and pound, there's submissions, and that's Russia's like one of their primary disciplines outside of wrestling is Sambo. And I think that Sambo, especially combat Sambo, is very efficient for MMA. Like Fedor Emelianenko did it, Islam does it, Habib does it, all of them from that area do. And just Russia as a whole. So I gotta say for Sambo, it's pretty efficient, and I gotta say you're probably winning at this. So next, we got Krav Maga. I could say it could work because of the kicks and the explosiveness, and I guess if someone's far away enough and they try to close the distance, you can kick them, and that shit would hurt. That shit is painful. But that's kind of really it, is kicks. And I think outside of that, like if someone takes you down, you're done for. If someone picks you up and slams you, you're done for. If someone, really knows how to box and they start just piecing you up, you're done for. So there's just a lot of holes in Krav Maga that I really feel like I kind of don't even need to say too much. And yeah, so next, man, we got night fighting. So I gotta say, run away, bro. Fucking run away. Like, yeah, you have some fighting ability because you fight in armor. But on the streets, you're not wearing armor, you don't have a shield, and you don't have a sword. You're literally just you. And I guess, yeah, I mean, you know how to throw a punch, and you know the basics, but that's kind of it. You know what I mean? I think in general, these guys probably don't know how to fight too much, especially if they run up against a guy who even knows, like, even if he's like a really good wrestler, or even like a halfway decent wrestler, like even if they won, like even if they're like All-American, right? Like if they're an All-American wrestler, then yeah, like they're not doing anything about that. Like I just don't see how like a medieval knight role play fighter, I mean, with all due respect, it's a hardcore sport. I mean, it really is. But I just don't see how that would translate into a street fight setting. You know, maybe I'm wrong, but I just don't know how that translates. Like I gotta say, like you gotta run away, bro. Just run away. All right, so next, man, we got Capoeira. Capoeira, man, this is in Brazil. This actually has a pretty like interesting origin, man. This was used as a self-defense from Afro-Brazilian slaves. And it's like a mix of dancing, so it's essentially like dance fighting. And this could work if like you implemented it in your game. It could work, but in the soul defense, like no, like I don't think so. You know what I mean? But then again, like maybe I'm thinking like, what happens if someone comes in, like they close the distance and you just fucking cartwheel kick them? You know what I mean? You can catch them, but like you don't really know how to throw punches, like you're just dancing. So like that's what I'm saying, it could work like under certain circumstances. Like I have like a little battle with myself there. Like I almost put it here, but I think I'm gonna keep it here. It could work. I might move up later, but I just think that it could work under like certain circumstances, but I don't think it would work like as a whole. Like if someone takes you down, then I don't think you're really going to like dance your way out of that. All right, yeah. So next couple ones we're going to get out the way. We got Tai Chi. You're going to die. Okay, Tai Chi straight up. We got Kuntao here. Kuntao, listen, you're going to die too. All right. Now this one's from the Philippines. I want to talk about this one because Tai Chi, we all kind of know about it. But Kuntao, it's from the Philippines. It's based off of like really fast and quick strikes, but it's too choreographed. It's too oversaturated. I haven't really seen enough real world like fight examples to where this would be successful. And if anything, like I don't know. So next we got Shaolin monk fighting, like how they're disciplined here. Now I gotta say, I think you could stand your ground here. Maybe I'm giving Shaolin monks a bit too much credit, you know, but I think that they're super tough. You know what I mean? Like I've seen they put drills like to their heads and shit, and they don't go in. And like, I mean, I see them do the splits and like get hit in the abs, and it's just crazy durability. And whatever they're doing, like it's working. So I guess you can stand your ground. I mean, yeah, sure, you don't have all the tools that these guys do above you, right? Or maybe not even the ones next to you, but you're as tough, you're as durable, right? So you can take it. And then the last two, man, we got Vovinam. Now this actually translates in English to Vietnamese martial arts. I actually think that this one is unique, but I think that stuff in here could work. Very fast combinations, fast calf kicks, fast question mark kicks, stuff that is in modern day kickboxing and modern day striking, which we see a lot. And yeah. And next we got Senegalese wrestling. This is super popular in Africa, and I gotta say, you're probably winning, dude. For people who don't know about this sport, they should honestly go check it out. It's these giant monster dudes from Africa, man. I'm talking like 6'5" and 6'4" and 6'6" and damn near 7 feet sometimes, and they are just huge. And there's everything. You know, I mean, there's clinch work, there's punching, elbows, takedowns, sweeps. The only thing that isn't in here is kicking. But since these guys are so huge and so strong, that they are probably going to win just off of the fact that they are tough, strong, and they're big and know how to fight. You know what I mean? In a proper way, where, you know, they don't have as much tools as the guys up here, but they could damn near take on about anybody here. You know what I mean? So yeah, guys, this is my official combat sports street fight tier list. And yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what you agree with, and I'll see you guys next video whenever I make one. Peace.